In this demonstration, we're going to look at how we create a DAG or a database availability group in Exchange Server 2019. The purpose of the DAG is to allow us to protect our data in the case of a failure of the active copy of the database. We will have a single active copy and we will have multiple passive copies of the database. If the active copy fails, then what will happen is we'll fail over to one of the passive copies, that will become active and users will still have access to their email. First thing we have to do is, because a DAG is a cluster, what we're going to do at this point here is we've just come onto our Active Directory domain controller, and what we're going to do is we're going to come into our Active Directory users and computers, and we're going to create a computer account for the cluster or the DAG. So we'll come into Active Directory users and computers. We're just going to change the view and we're just going to make sure we have our advanced features enabled. Then what we're going to do is we're just going to come into our computers container, and in our computers container we're going to create a new computer account. So within this computer account we need to give the computer account a name. I'm just going to call it DAG1 and select OK. Now we've done that, we need to set some properties up. So we'll come in, we'll just right click on our DAG1 and we'll come to our properties. Now the reason why we enabled the advanced view is because we need the security tab. So there's the security tab at this point here. So what we're now going to do is we're just going to set up some permissions for our Exchange DAG computer account. So at this point here we'll just select add, and then what we want is we want our Exchange trusted subsystem, so we'll select OK. Then we'll select add again, and we're going to add in some computer objects, so we'll select add, we'll go for our object types, make sure we've got computers turned on, and then we'll select OK. And then what we're going to do is we're just going to add in lon-ex1's account. And we'll just check that name there and we'll select OK. And the two things we've added is we'll just give them full control. So we'll give full control to the lon-ex1. We'll just find the Exchange trusted subsystem again. And then what we're going to do is we're also going to give that full control. We'll select OK, and then finally what we're going to do is just going to disable that account because we don't want people actually using it. We'll say yes. Select OK. So now what we're going to do is we're now actually going to create the database availability group. So to do that, we're going to do that from one of our Exchange servers and log into the Exchange Admin Center. Now we're in the Exchange Admin Center, what we're going to do is we're just going to come to this feature pane, we're just going to go for servers. Then what we're going to do is we're just going to come up and we're just going to go for our database availability groups. And then to create a new database availability group, we click the plus button. It's going to ask us to fill out some information, so we'll just fill in this information. So what we're doing at this point here, we're going to call the database availability group DAG1, witness server, because we only have two nodes in this cluster, so we need a third vote. We're going to use lon-dc1 and we're going to specify as the witness server's witness directory fsw dag1, and then what we're doing at this point here is for the database availability group IP address or the cluster IP address, we're going to use 172.16.0.33 and we'll add that in. Now we've done all of that, we'll just select our save button, and that's now going to create the DAG. Now we've created the object, we need to add things to the DAG, so we'll come to our Manage DAG Membership. And then what we're going to do is just click plus. And then what we're going to do is we're going to add in the two servers. So we're going to go for lon-ex1 and also as well lon-ex2. And then we'll select our OK button. Happy with all of this, we can select Save. And now the DAG is complete, so we can select the Close button. Next thing we need to do is we now just need to create a Mailbox database copy in the DAG. So what we're going to do that is we're just going to come into our databases. And in our databases, what we're going to do is we're going to create a DAG from one of the databases we already have in place. And the one I'm going to use is just Mailbox Database 1. We come to our More Actions, and in our More Actions we click Add Database Copy. Within the wizard, so we can see it's Mailbox Database 1, we just now need to specify our Mailbox server, so we click Browse. It's currently sitting on lon-ex1, so I don't see that in the list, but I do have lon-ex2, so we'll select OK. We're happy with the activation preference number of 2. We can see the server hosting the current active copy, And if we just have a look, we do have some additional settings here in more options. So one of the things we can do is we can do a thing where we create a thing called a lagged database copy. And the lagged database copy is a copy that we don't update immediately if any changes are made to the active copy. So maybe useful within, let's say, an 8-node cluster to have an active copy with 6 passive copies, potentially across 2 sites. And then what we'll have is we'll have that additional copy as a lagged copy just in case we need to go back to, let's say, a week previous. So I'm not going to bother with the replay at lag time in days. I'm just going to leave that blank. I don't want this to be a lag copy, and I'm not going to postpone seeding either. My network in my virtual environment is fairly quick, so I don't need to postpone anything. So at this point here, we'll just select our save button, and as we can see at this point here, it's saving this off, and now what it's doing, it's now creating that additional copy of the Mailbox database 1. So at this point here, it says that it's saved everything completely, so it can select close. Then if we just look across here, what we can see in the details pane here, database copies, Mailbox database, LON-EX1 is mounted. Don't need to worry about any of this copy queue length. We're not actually updating anything within here. But down here we have Mailbox database LON-EX2, and we can see it's passive and it's healthy. So we can see that the replication has taken effect. That's the end of this demonstration of creating a DAG and creating a Mailbox database copy. Thank you.